Spain laid claim to the Mohave Valley in 1492 when Columbus took possession of what Spain viewed as the New World. Spain enforced its ownership over Native American lands by armies of conquistadors. Lured on by legendary cities of gold and with a fixed determination to convert the natives to Christianity, conquistadors, explorers, and priests launched expeditions to explore and conquer this new land. Juan de Oñate explored up the Buena Esperanza, as he named the Colorado, in 1604, and met the Mohave near the current city of Needles, California. He told us little about the Mohave. In 1776, Fray Francisco Garces, a Franciscan missionary, reached the shores of the Buena Esperanza and beheld water tinted with red earth from the river's meandering origins. He christened it the Red River, or when spoken in Spanish, the Rio Colorado. The river used to carry a large amount of red silt as it flowed down its course. Old-timers used to say the Colorado was too thick to drink and too thin to use for a pillow. Construction of dams on the river have slowed this great river, encouraging the red silt to deposit on the river and lake beds. It still carries the Red River name, Colorado, but we no longer see the reddish hue for which Garces named it. When Garces arrived in the Mohave Valley, he met the Mohave and recorded the events in his diary.
I can say with entire truth that these Indians have great advantage over the Yumas and the rest of the nations of the Rio Colorado. They are less molestful, and none are thieves. They seem valiant, and nowhere have I been better served. The women wear petticoats of the style and cut that the Yumas wear. The men go entirely naked. It is said they are very strong, and so I found them to be, especially in enduring hunger and thirst.
And when the Spaniards first came up the river and seeking a route to California, well, they came up the river and met us, and they were looking for an area or somebody to help them get across, I guess. And when they came in, came in friendly, so they're friends. So they treated them gave them water and gave them shade and gave them the food from the garden and things like that, and then helped them cross the desert, because we were really trading with Indians on the Pacific Ocean anyway, what we call the mission Indians now and all that. And we showed them all the water holes, things like that. And the Spaniards said, well, we found some people, Valley of the Giants they call this area, because the Mohave at that time stood about 6'5", 6", somewhere in there, slender. And the Spaniard at that time was just a little bitty guy, with I guess 5'5", whatever. I guess what they did was they went back to Spain and told how big people they found and all this and that. The second time they came through, they decided to capture 2 of them, take them back with them. That's when they made the mistake of doing that. And that's when they just, parted, because they didn't trust them after that. They didn't trust the Spaniards after the second trip.
The Spanish claimed ownership of the Mohave Valley until the Mexican Revolt for Independence. The Spanish at the California missions became frustrated, or perhaps angry, with the Mohave that would come to trade. Perhaps they were angry over difficulties between the mission Indians and the Mohaves. And perhaps they were angry that they could not exert control over these Native Americans from the east. The Spanish organized expeditions aimed at exerting control over the Mohave, but this meant the Spanish soldiers had to cross the Mohave Desert. One such expedition was commanded by Lieutenant Gabriel Morega in 1819.
we set out towards the Mohave to punish the bold and evil deeds of the Indians, on account of information from the Indians that water was scarce until one day's journey. I advanced with but 10 soldiers and 4 Indians, but after traveling all day and a large part of the night, we were heartsick, for our horses had given out, notwithstanding that they were the strongest. We returned to the mission San Buenaventura without reaching the Mohave homelands.
The Mohave knew and understood this desert in the southwest. They were very familiar with the Mohave Trail. They knew how to cross the desert and the location of each waterhole. The Mohave not only learned to survive, but traveled back and forth across the desert with what appears to be relative ease. Less experienced adventurers often suffered, died, or retreated when faced with the hardships of crossing this desert. The desert protected the Mohave, for though they traversed this wasteland with apparent ease, the invading Spanish armies could not penetrate to the Mohave homeland.